I think he took a death with a fair amount of, well, the engine was still pretty hot, so that isn't such as bad as dying with cool engines, but he's taken another death there, unfortunately.
54.11 for Kingbeandip.
Yeah, I find it interesting that he likes to use the right path for this track. I know that most players, I think, use the left one, so always accidentally caught the ramp there, so that's going to cost him a little bit of time.
Kingbeandip told me that he was starting to de-rust a little bit.
Yeah, that's no good, having a bit of a rough time on this track. So how Kingbean's getting on though. I'm not sure if he's on good enough pace to beat the times already done, but he might be.
52.57.
Yeah, quite a late boost, rather an early boost there. I know that I like to do it a little bit later than that section. He makes the gate for the third lap. He's on good heat at this position. So this is looking like it should be a pretty good time.
238.13. $238.133. Probably would have broken the 238 mark if he hadn't hit the jump.
Well, that puts Kingbean in third place on Aquilaris Classic, just after Ace.
Ace and Dumray, which are off by about maybe 100th of a second.
Yeah, I think it was a 10th. Yeah, it was 1/10.
Yeah, it was a 10th. It was a 10th of a second, yeah. And now we're going into Malistar 100, where it's a clone of Sonoma Raceway in Northern California and is determined mainly by a hairpin at the very end.
Yeah, Malistar tracks are very characteristic of kind of very tight turns, narrow sections, and that sort of thing. Really, generally, I mean, there's I think how many there are. I mean, there's this one, there's Doug Derby, and there's Sebulba's Legacy. I don't know if there's any more, but
those are the only three.
Yeah, they're usually quite technical tracks. There's no easy Malistar tracks, really. I would say probably Sebulba's Legacy is actually the easiest, perhaps, and that's on the Galactic circuit, so... I know that was a track that David was also quite fond of. It was one of the few skips he actually liked doing. And he had the best time actually with Ben with the skips on that track, I believe, for quite a while actually.
Fortunately, however, that skip on Sebulba's Legacy got demoted recently.
Yeah, that was partly due to me actually, but that's I think that was a very reasonable way of dealing with it, because it was difficult really to decipher with the track limits on that one. So I think that's probably a very reasonable way of dealing with that.
Both are ready.
Yeah, so obviously we're communicating with our runners as well in our text chat here, so they know when to start the race.
Countdown has been given to, so we're just...
Yeah, best time here so far is by Ace with a 146.1, very closely followed by Paige with a 46.2. So
here we go. And expect greasy handling here, because the optimal traction is the lowest frame rate with the lowest traction here.
yeah, I'm wondering if both players know to change their
Frame rate.
for this. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Kingbeandip knows, but
yeah,
I think and I think you can even tell how. I think you can even tell how Not So Good is running at a higher frame rate than Kingbeandip too. Really clear. Whoa! Kingbeandip clipped the wall!
ooh, that's unusual death.
I don't usually see deaths there either.
Yeah,
Usually the deaths come at... Usually I see deaths come at the hairpin or the jump right before it.
Yeah, the thing is though, I think you're almost off your guard on other places because you're thinking, well, the hairpin's a dangerous bit, so I'll focus on that, and then you crash somewhere else.
Probably.
Yeah, that's no good. I think he's using a very high traction. He, well, basically crashed into the hairpin, so very lucky not to die, actually.
And it looks like he clipped at the same place Kingbeandip did. 151 for Kingbean. $151.315 for Kingbeandip.
Yeah, quite a painful result for Kingbean, actually. It's second to last place on this track.
Now we're going into the semi-final track, which is the hardest track of the amateur circuit, in Vengeance.
Yeah, I still think Bedo's is up there, actually. It's kind of difficult to say which is more difficult between those two, perhaps.
I personally find Vengeance much harder than Bedo's.